What if I told you there's an ancient secret, hidden within the pages of one of the most powerful stories ever created, capable of completely transforming how you view life's challenges? Imagine for a moment that you're facing seemingly insurmountable darkness, a time when everything around you is crumbling and you can't see a single light on the horizon. It's in this exact moment of despair that an enigmatic figure appears, clad in grey, with eyes that hold the wisdom of ages. And he whispers, words that echo through the centuries. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. These aren't just the words of a fictional character, but ancestral keys that can unlock your true potential and guide you through the deepest darkness of your existence. Today, you're about to discover 30 sacred lessons that will revolutionize your perspective on courage, wisdom, hope, and the transformative power residing within every human being. Welcome to an extraordinary journey of self-discovery and spiritual transformation. And today, I invite you to embark with me on one of the deepest explorations of human wisdom ever shared on video. In the next few minutes, we won't just analyze quotes from an iconic character of fantasy literature, but we'll delve into the deep waters of the universal wisdom that Gandalf represents. Each lesson I'll share with you has been carefully selected to offer not only momentary inspiration, but practical and spiritual tools you can apply immediately to your life. You'll discover how to confront your most paralyzing fears, how to find strength in moments of utter weakness, how to recognize the power that already exists within you, and how to use that wisdom to transform not only your own journey, but also positively impact the lives of everyone around you. Prepare for an experience that goes far beyond entertainment, as we're about to access knowledge that can literally change the course of your existence. Lesson 1. Not all those who wander are lost. How many times have you felt lost in life, walking without a clear direction, questioning if you're on the right path? Gandalf teaches us that there's a profound difference between being lost and exploring. When you feel disoriented, when it seems like you're wandering without purpose, you might be exactly where you need to be. The process of searching, of exploring, of questioning, isn't a sign of failure but of growth. You're not lost, you're discovering. Every step that seems uncertain, every moment of doubt, every path that seems to lead nowhere is, in fact, shaping you, preparing you for something greater. The wisdom lies in understanding that not every journey needs a clear destination from the start. Sometimes, the journey itself is the destination. Apply this lesson to your life by letting go of the pressure to have all the answers immediately. Allow yourself to explore, experiment, wander consciously. Trust that your inner heart knows where you're going, even when your rational mind can't see the path. Lesson 2. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. This may be the most powerful lesson of all. Gandalf reminds us that we don't control the circumstances we encounter in our lives, but we have total control over how we react to them. You didn't choose to be born at this time, in this place, under these specific conditions, but you have the absolute power to decide what to do with every moment given to you. Stop for a moment and reflect on the magnitude of this truth. Every second that passes is a unique opportunity for choice. You can choose love over fear, courage over paralysis, hope over despair. Time is the most democratic resource there is, as we all receive exactly 24 hours a day. The difference between an extraordinary life and an ordinary life isn't in the amount of time we have, but in the quality of the decisions we make with that time. Start today to treat each moment as the sacred gift that it truly is. Constantly ask yourself, what can I do with this moment to create something beautiful, meaningful, and transformative? This simple shift in perspective can completely revolutionize your existence. Lesson 3. Even the smallest person can change the course of the world. Gandalf sees in Frodo something that the Hobbit himself can't see, an immense potential hidden within a seemingly insignificant being. You can identify with Frodo in many moments of your life, feeling too small, too weak, too inadequate to make a difference. But this lesson reveals a fundamental truth about human nature. Size doesn't determine impact. You don't need to be rich, famous, powerful, or exceptionally talented to change the world. You just need to have the courage to take the first step. History is full of ordinary people who made extraordinary choices and transformed the reality of millions. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment when you choose to do what's right even when it's difficult, is sending waves of transformation through the universe. You have more power than you imagine. Your life, your choices, your actions matter infinitely more than you can conceive. Start today to act as if you were capable of changing the world, because you are. Don't underestimate the power that exists within you. Lesson 4. With great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, and Gandalf understands this deeply. You possess powers you may not even recognize. The power to influence, to inspire, to love, to create, to heal, to transform. Each skill you possess, each talent you've developed, each insight you've gained isn't just yours. It's a gift to share with the world. This lesson isn't about becoming an epic hero, but about recognizing that you're already a potential hero in many people's lives. Your responsibility isn't to save the entire world at once, but to use your unique gifts to make your corner of the world a little better. When you acknowledge your power to make a difference, you can no longer pretend you don't. Indifference becomes impossible when you awaken to your own potential. Identify the powers you possess today, however small they may seem, and consciously begin using them for good. Your only true regret will be not fully utilizing the gifts you've received. Lesson 5. There is some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for. In moments of profound darkness, when all seems lost, when negativity and chaos dominate the headlines and our perception of the world, Gandalf reminds us of a fundamental truth. Good still exists, and it's more powerful than we imagine. This lesson isn't about ignoring the reality of the world's problems and suffering, but about maintaining a balanced perspective that also acknowledges the beauty, goodness, and hope that coexist with difficulties. You have the power to choose what you focus your attention on. When you consciously choose to seek out and acknowledge the good around you, you not only improve your own quality of life, but you also become a beacon of hope for others. Genuine love exists between people, beauty exists in nature, goodness exists in human hearts, progress is being made silently in thousands of ways. These things don't make headlines, but they are what truly sustains and moves the world. Make a daily practice of identifying something good, beautiful, or hopeful around you. Fight for it, preserve it, celebrate it, share it. Be a protector of the best in humanity. Lesson 6. We cannot choose the times we live in, but we can choose how we live them. Gandalf offers here one of the most liberating understandings of the human condition. You can't control the era you were born into, the challenges your generation faces, the crises that arise around you, but you have complete control over how you respond to it all. Every generation faces its own dragons, its own darkness, its own fears. You are not a victim of the circumstances of your time, but an active participant in creating the human response to those circumstances. This lesson is about taking full responsibility for the quality of your life experience, regardless of what's happening around you. You can choose to live with courage in times of fear, with love in times of hate, with hope in times of despair, with wisdom in times of confusion. Your life is your most important work of art, and you are the only artist capable of creating. Don't let external circumstances determine the internal quality of your existence. Be the conscious author of your own story, regardless of the setting in which it unfolds. Lesson 7. The wise do not offer unsolicited advice, but choose carefully when to share their wisdom. Gandalf rarely forces his opinions on others, but when he speaks, his words carry the weight of truth and experience. This lesson teaches us about the power of discernment and patience. You don't need to share everything you know with everyone you meet. There's a right time, a right place, a right person for every insight you possess. True wisdom lies not only in knowing many things, but in knowing when and how to share that knowledge in a way that is truly helpful. Observe how Gandalf allows Frodo and other characters to learn through their own experiences, offering guidance only when necessary. This is a much deeper and more respectful way to help others. You honor each person's learning journey when you resist the temptation to give unsolicited advice. At the same time, you become a trusted source of wisdom for those who genuinely seek guidance. Practice wise discernment, Observe, listen, understand, and only then, when appropriate, share your insights with humility and love. Lesson 8. Courage. Fear is not the absence of fear, but action in the face of fear. Gandalf demonstrates courage not because he doesn't feel fear, but because he acts rightly even when fear is present. This lesson completely revolutionizes our understanding of bravery. You don't need to eliminate fear to be courageous. You need to act with integrity even when fear is trying to paralyze you. Fear is a natural and often useful emotion, but it shouldn't be the commander of your decisions. Every time you feel fear and still choose to do what is right, you are exercising your courage like a muscle. Each act of courage, however small, strengthens your ability to act courageously in larger situations. Start with small acts of courage. Speaking your truth in a difficult conversation, standing up for someone being treated unfairly, making a decision you know is right, even when it's uncomfortable. Recognize that the fear you feel before acting courageously isn't a sign of weakness, but evidence that you're about to do something important and transformative. Lesson 9. Hope is like a star. It cannot be seen in the daytime, but it shines brightly in the darkness. Gandalf understands that hope isn't foolish, wishful thinking, but a powerful force that manifests especially in the most difficult moments. When everything is going well, when you're comfortable and secure, you might not even realize you need hope. Lesson 10. True power lies not in dominating others, but in mastering oneself. Alatar possesses immense power, but his primary focus is always on self-control and self-discipline. This lesson reveals that the most transformative power you can develop is power over yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, your choices. When you can govern your inner world, you become truly free and powerful. People who try to control others are, paradoxically, those who have the least control over themselves. True power lies in being able to respond instead of simply reacting, in choosing your emotions instead of being controlled by them, in maintaining your integrity even when it's difficult. This is a lifelong work, but each small progress in self-mastery exponentially multiplies your ability to create positive change in the world. Start by paying attention to the moments when you react automatically, without awareness. Practice pausing before responding, taking a deep breath before acting, choosing your words carefully. Each moment of self-mastery is a victory that strengthens your true essence. Lesson 11. Wisdom often comes disguised as simplicity. Alatar doesn't impress with complicated words or complex theories, but with simple and profound truths. This lesson reminds us that the most powerful truths of life are often the simplest. You don't need complicated concepts to live well. You need simple principles applied consistently. Love, kindness, honesty, courage, gratitude, compassion. These are ideas a child can understand, but that take a lifetime to fully master. Complexity is often a way of hiding a lack of real understanding. When you truly understand something, you can explain it simply. When you truly live something, you don't need many words to demonstrate it. Practice simplifying your life, your thoughts, your explanations. Seek the simple essence behind complex situations. Trust the wisdom you already possess, even if it seems too obvious. Often, what you need is not more information, but more consistent application of the simple truths you already know. Lesson 12. Everyone deserves a second chance, but not everyone will take it. Alatar offers opportunities for redemption, even to those who have betrayed him, but he also understands that not everyone will choose transformation. This lesson teaches us about the balance between compassion and practical wisdom. You should be generous with second chances, but also realistic about the fact that not everyone is ready for change. Giving a second chance doesn't mean becoming naive or allowing others to repeatedly abuse your kindness. It's about offering an opportunity for growth while maintaining healthy boundaries. When you offer forgiveness and a new opportunity, you are doing it for your own freedom as much as for the possibility of the other person's transformation. If they choose not to take that opportunity, it doesn't diminish the value of your gesture, but rather informs your future decisions. Practice offering second chances wisely. always maintaining discernment about when it's appropriate and when it's necessary to protect your own energy and well-being. Your compassion is a precious gift that should be offered consciously. Lesson 13. Words have the power to heal or destroy. Use them wisely. Alatar deeply understands the power of words. He can invoke hope with a phrase or reveal truths that completely transform someone's perspective. This lesson reminds us that you possess, through your words, one of the most important powers there is, the ability to influence the inner reality of other people. Each word you choose to use is like a seed you plant in the garden of the listener's consciousness. These seeds can grow into flowers of inspiration, courage, and love, or they can become thorns of doubt, fear, and pain. You have a responsibility to be conscious of the kind of seeds you are planting. This doesn't mean you should avoid difficult conversations or uncomfortable truths, but that you should choose your words with clear intention and a compassionate heart. Before speaking, especially in moments of intense emotion, pause and ask yourself, will these words build or destroy? Will they heal or hurt? Will they uplift or diminish? Use your verbal power to create more beauty and understanding in the world. Lesson 14. The true test of character is not how you act when you're being watched, but when no one is looking. Alatar maintains his integrity even when he is alone, even when no one can witness his choices. This lesson confronts us with one of the most important questions about personal development. Who are you when no one is looking? Your true nature reveals itself in private moments, in the small decisions no one will ever know, in the temptations you could easily give in to without apparent consequences. It's easy to act with integrity when reputation is at stake, but true character is forged in the privacy of conscience. Each integral choice you make in private strengthens your identity and makes it easier to act with integrity in public. Every time you choose to do what's right, even when no one is watching, you're building a stronger, more authentic version of yourself. Develop the habit of being your own mindful observer. Become the person you'd admire, even if that admiration never comes. Your integrity is the gift you give yourself. Lesson 15. Patience is a virtue that allows wisdom to bloom. Alatar rarely acts in haste, always allowing situations to unfold in their own time. This lesson teaches us about the transformative power of patience in a world that constantly pressures us for instant results. You live in an age of instant gratification, where everything is expected to happen quickly. But the most valuable things in life, deep relationships, true wisdom, real transformation, spiritual growth, all require time to properly develop. Patience isn't passivity, but an active form of trust in life's natural process. When you cultivate patience, you allow situations to unfold at their natural pace, often revealing possibilities that haste would have destroyed. Patience also allows you to make wiser decisions based on deep understanding rather than impulsive reactions. Practice patience as a form of active meditation. Observe how nature is never in a hurry, yet everything happens in its own time. Trust that your life too has a natural rhythm that, when respected, produces more beautiful and lasting results than haste could ever achieve. Lesson 16. Humility is the foundation of all true greatness. Despite his power and wisdom, Alatar never places himself above others. He serves, guides, and protects, but never dominates or boasts. This lesson reveals that true greatness lies not in elevating oneself above others, but in using one's gifts to lift them up. The more you grow in wisdom, power, or influence, the more important it becomes to maintain a humble perspective on your place in the world. Humility isn't diminishing yourself or denying your talents, but acknowledging that all your gifts are presents to be used in service to something greater than yourself. When you embrace humility, you become a channel for something greater to flow through you. You cease being an obstacle to your own growth and become a facilitator of your own transformation. Humility also protects you from arrogance, one of the most effective ways to interrupt personal growth. Practice humility by regularly reminding yourself that you are both a teacher and a student, both a healer and one in need of healing, both a leader and a follower. This perspective keeps you open to continuous growth. Lesson 17. Death is not an end, but a transformation. Alatar experiences death and is reborn transformed, demonstrating that not even death can stop the true spirit. This lesson invites us to rethink our relationship with all forms of endings and transformations. In your life, you experience many symbolic deaths: the end of relationships, the loss of jobs, the dissolution of dreams, the closing of life chapters. Each of these experiences can be seen as destruction or as transformation. When you understand that every ending is also a beginning, you stop resisting life's natural changes and begin to cooperate with them. This doesn't mean you shouldn't feel sadness or grieve for endings, but that you can find hope and purpose even in loss. Each old version of you that dies allows a new and more evolved version to be born. Embracing this perspective transforms your relationship with change, loss, and the very concept of permanence. Nothing is permanent, and this is both a source of hope and acceptance. Lesson 18. True strength comes from unity, not division. Alatar constantly works to unite different peoples, races, and cultures against common enemies. He understands that the most powerful force isn't individual, but collective. This lesson is profoundly relevant to your current world, where divisions seem to be intensifying. You have the opportunity to be a unifying force in your environment instead of contributing to polarization. This doesn't mean you should ignore differences or avoid necessary conflict, but that you should seek common ground and shared goals. When you focus on what unites rather than what divides, you contribute to creating more powerful solutions to complex problems. Unity doesn't require unanimity, but respectful cooperation among different perspectives. You can disagree with someone and still work together in areas of common interest. Practice being a bridge between people and groups that could benefit from collaboration. Seek opportunities to join forces with others on projects that serve the common good. Your ability to unite may be one of your most valuable contributions to the world. Lesson 19. Knowledge without compassion is dangerous. Alatar never uses his vast knowledge to impress or manipulate, but always with compassion and care. This lesson warns us about the dangers of knowledge disconnected from the heart. You live in an age of unprecedented access to information, but information without wisdom and wisdom without compassion can be destructive. Truly useful knowledge is tempered by compassion, by understanding human needs and vulnerabilities. When you learn something new, always ask yourself, how can I use this knowledge to help, heal, inspire, or uplift others? The goal of learning shouldn't be to impress or stand out, but to become a more helpful and compassionate person. Every insight you gain, every skill you develop, every understanding you achieve should be seen as an opportunity to better serve the world around you. Practice using your knowledge as a tool of healing and building, not as a weapon of division or superiority. Lesson 20. Darkness exists to teach us to value the light. Alatar faced the deepest darkness and was transformed by that experience. He understands that darkness isn't just something to be avoided, but can also be a powerful teacher. This lesson invites us to rethink our relationship with the difficult moments in life. Your periods of hardship, pain, confusion, and loss are not just obstacles to be overcome, but also opportunities for growth and deepening. It is during the darkest moments that you develop inner resources you didn't even know you possessed. It is in adversity that you discover your true strength, your resilience, your ability to find hope where it seemed non-existent. Without the experience of darkness, you cannot fully appreciate the light. Without knowing pain, you cannot fully understand joy. This doesn't mean you should seek suffering, but rather that you can find meaning and purpose even in the most difficult experiences. Each time you go through a darkness and emerge transformed, you become wiser, more compassionate, and more able to help others facing similar challenges. Lesson 21. Forgiveness liberates both the forgiver and the forgiven. Alatar offers forgiveness, even to those who betrayed him, understanding that forgiveness is a liberation, not a weakness. This lesson teaches us that forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of self-mastery you can perform. When you forgive, you're not saying that what happened was acceptable. You are saying that you refuse to allow that experience to continue, controlling your life. Resentment is like carrying a heavy burden that only hurts the one carrying it. When you forgive, you free yourself from that weight. Forgiveness isn't a feeling you wait to experience, but a decision you make. It's a conscious choice to free yourself from the prison of resentment. This doesn't mean you must necessarily reconcile with whoever hurt you or expose yourself again to the same kind of pain, but rather that you can find inner peace regardless of others' actions. Practice forgiveness as an act of self-compassion. Start by forgiving small daily irritations and offenses, gradually developing your ability to let go of larger hurts. Your forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Lesson 22. Wisdom is not found in having all the answers, but in asking the right questions. Alatar frequently answers questions with other questions, guiding others to discover their own answers. This lesson teaches us that true wisdom isn't a repository of information, but a capacity for inquiry and discovery. You don't need to have all the answers to be wise. You need to be skilled at asking questions that lead to profound insights. The best questions are those that open possibilities instead of closing them, that invite reflection instead of demanding simple answers. When you find yourself in a difficult situation, instead of despairing over not knowing what to do, practice asking questions that might illuminate the path. What is this situation trying to teach me? What opportunities for growth exist here? How can I respond in a way that honors my deepest values? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Superficial questions lead to superficial answers, but profound questions open doors to profound transformations. Lesson 23. True courage manifests in protecting the vulnerable. Alatar consistently uses his power to protect those who cannot protect themselves. This lesson teaches us that courage isn't just about facing your own fears, but about placing yourself between danger and those who need protection. You have the opportunity to exercise courage every day, not just in dramatic situations, but in simple moments when someone needs support. This could be standing up for someone who is being treated unfairly, offering help to someone who is struggling, or simply being a compassionate presence for someone who is suffering. Protective courage doesn't require you to be physically strong or powerful, but rather that you are willing to use whatever resources you possess, your voice, your presence, your influence, your compassion, to make a difference in the life of someone in need. Each act of protection and care strengthens not only the person helped, but also develops your own capacity for courage. Look for daily opportunities to be a gentle protector for those around you. Lesson 24. Patience with one's own imperfections and those of others is a sign of spiritual maturity. Alatar demonstrates extraordinary patience with the flaws and limitations of his companions, understanding that growth is a gradual process. This lesson teaches us about the importance of compassion for both yourself and others. You are in constant evolution, and this means that you will make mistakes, have setbacks, and face limitations. Spiritual maturity is not in achieving perfection, but in developing a loving and patient relationship with your own growth journey. Similarly, when you can see the imperfections of others as a natural part of the human developmental process, you become a source of support and encouragement instead of judgment and criticism. This compassionate perspective creates an environment where real growth can happen, both for you and for those around you. Practice treating your imperfections as learning opportunities, not as evidence of failure. Offer others the same patience you would like to receive in your own moments of imperfection. Lesson 25. Silence often communicates more than 1,000 words. Alatar understands the power of contemplative silence and uses it strategically at important moments. This lesson teaches us about the wisdom of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. In a world saturated with noise and constant words, silence becomes a powerful form of communication. When you learn to be comfortable with silence, you develop the ability to truly listen, not just to the words of others, but also to your own inner intuitions. Silence allows profound insights to emerge, emotions to process naturally, and clarity to rise from confusion. There are times when a silent presence is more valuable than any advice, times when allowing others to find their own words is more helpful than offering your own. Practice incorporating moments of mindful silence into your daily life. Use silence as a tool for reflection, connection, and wisdom. Discover how silence can be a profound form of communication and understanding. Lesson 26. Hope must be cultivated, especially when it seems most impossible. Alatar maintains hope even in the most desperate situations, understanding that hope is a conscious choice, not an automatic reaction to circumstances. This lesson challenges us to see hope not as something we feel when things are going well, but as something we actively create when things are difficult. True hope is an act of rebellion against despair, a refusal to accept that current circumstances are permanent. When you consciously cultivate hope, you are not denying the reality of problems, but affirming your belief in transformative capacity. Hope actively inspires you to keep trying, to seek solutions, to remain open to possibilities that are not yet visible. Every small act of hope, every time you choose to believe things can improve, every moment you act as if the future could be different from the present, is contributing to creating the reality you hope for. Practice nurturing your hope deliberately, especially in the darkest moments. Lesson 27. True leadership is serving others, not being served by them. Alatar leads by example and service, never demanding that others serve him. This lesson completely redefines our understanding of leadership and influence. True leadership is not about power over others, but about empowering others. It's not about being the center of attention, but about helping others shine. It's not about having followers, but about creating more leaders. You have leadership opportunities every day, not just in formal positions of authority, but in every moment you can positively influence someone. When you embrace leadership as service, you become a catalyst for the growth and development of others. Your influence multiplies because you are investing in the potential of others, not just promoting your own. Practice leading by example, offering support without expecting recognition, inspiring through your actions more than your words. Every time you use your influence to uplift others, you are exercising the most powerful form of leadership. Lesson 28. True wisdom is knowing there is always more to learn. Despite all his wisdom and experience, Alatar maintains an open and curious mind, always willing to learn from new experiences. This lesson protects us from intellectual arrogance and keeps us open to continuous growth. No matter how much you have already learned, experienced, or achieved, there are always new levels of understanding to reach, new perspectives to consider, and new skills to develop. Intellectual humility is not a weakness, but a strength that allows unlimited growth. When you embrace the identity of a lifelong learner, you remain young at heart, curious about life, and open to change and transformation. Every person you meet has something to teach. Every experience you live has lessons to offer. Every challenge you face has wisdom to share. Cultivate a mindset of constant curiosity. Ask questions, explore new ideas, challenge your own assumptions. Your willingness to learn is one of the most important keys to a rich and constantly evolving life. Lesson 29. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, capable of transforming even the deepest darkness. Alatar understands that ultimately, love is what truly matters and what has the power to overcome any form of darkness. This lesson reminds us that love is not just a nice feeling, but a real transformative force. When you genuinely love, be it romantic love, familial love, love for humanity, love for life, you connect with something larger than yourself. Love has the power to heal deep wounds, to inspire impossible changes, to create beauty where there was once only destruction. Every act of love, no matter how small, contributes to increasing the amount of light in the world. When you choose to love instead of fear, to forgive instead of resent, to build instead of destroy, you are aligning yourself with the most powerful force there is. Love isn't always easy, but it's always transformative. Practice choosing. Love in situations where it would be easier to choose fear or anger. Use love as your primary guide for important decisions. Trust that love, when genuine and consistent, always finds a way to create positive change. Lesson 30. Your true home is not a place, but a state of being. Alatar finds home in his values, in his connections, in his purpose, not in a specific location. This final lesson frees us from the idea that our happiness depends on external circumstances. Your true home is the state of peace, love, purpose, and authenticity that you cultivate within yourself. When you develop this inner home, you can find yourself at home anywhere, with anyone, in any situation. This doesn't mean that places and people don't matter, but rather that your fundamental sense of belonging and security doesn't depend on them. You carry your home within you through your values, your identity, your connection to something larger than yourself. When you understand this, you become truly free, capable of adaptation and growth in any circumstance. Cultivate your inner home through practices that connect you to your deepest values, your authentic self, your spiritual core. This is the only home no one can take from you. And so we arrive at the end of this extraordinary journey through the wisdom of Alatar. But in truth, this is only the beginning of your own transformative adventure. These 30 lessons are not just pretty insights to contemplate, but practical tools to completely rebuild how you live, how you relate to yourself, and the world around you. The true test isn't how much you intellectually understood these lessons, but how much you embody them in your daily actions, in your moment-to-moment choices, in your way of being in the world. Alatar teaches us that each of us carries within an extraordinary power for transformation, not only of our own lives, but of the reality around us. You are not just a passive observer of life, but an active participant in creating a wiser, more compassionate, more courageous world. Today, right now, you have the opportunity to choose which of these lessons you will apply first. Maybe you'll start by acknowledging that you're not lost, just exploring. Maybe you'll decide to use your time more consciously and intentionally. Maybe you'll choose to see your own capacity to make a difference, however small it may seem. Whatever your starting point, the important thing is to begin. Wisdom only becomes real when it's lived, when it's applied, when it transforms into action. We live in times that seem challenging, but remember Alatar's words: we cannot choose the times we live in, but we can choose how we live them. You have the unique opportunity to be a force of light in a world that often seems dominated by darkness. Every time you choose courage over fear, hope over despair, love over hate, you are fulfilling your role as a guardian of the wisdom you received today. If this journey has touched your heart and transformed your perspective, I invite you to share this light with others. Leave a comment sharing which lesson impacted you the most and how you intend to apply it to your life. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these words of wisdom. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of personal discovery and transformation. Together, we can create a community of people committed to growth, to wisdom, to building a better world. Remember always, you are not alone on this journey. Just as Alatar guided Frodo through his transformative adventure, there is a greater wisdom guiding you every step of the way. Trust that wisdom. Trust yourself. Trust the power within you to create extraordinary change. Your transformative adventure began today, but the destination is still being written by your choices. Make it a story worth telling, a life worth living, a legacy worth remembering. May Alatar's wisdom always be with you, and may you become the hero of your own epic story of transformation and growth. Until our next encounter, keep walking with courage, love, and wisdom.